Let's get it. Who up?
I go.
All right, I mean, okay. All right, Sean, you got it.
All right. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Sean Brooks, aka Sean Be Nice, for what y'all know me as. Chicago in the building, GH5 in the building, Michael 4 Thirds in the building. It's gonna be a good chat, man. It's gonna be a good chat.
Okay, you gotta plug the GH5. I got you. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's up, y'all? Also Sean Miles, though. I'm another Chicago-based videographer. First time up on the stream. Looking forward to these talks. So let's get
it. What's good, man? Y'all already know what it is. Technically T on the tech side, T the vein when it comes to the camera talk, man. So y'all see me before, man. It's the same old routine. What's good? What's good?
Awesome. So, yeah, I was muted, unfortunately. But hey, Ben, lover of tech, UK-based, London, all things consumer tech, as well as obviously mobile phones and mainly camera talk as well, which is what's going to be the focus for tonight. So I got my brothers in tech, man. This is going to be fun because we've been wanting to do a sit-down roundtable on a regular basis about everything that's happening in the camera scene right now, because the camera scene is looking a lot more interesting, good and bad. So if you guys have seen the title, you've got it there, where it's all about Olympus. The theme is kind of based around, if you guys have seen that movie with Gerard Butler, Olympus has fallen, and what that could mean for the landscape, especially specifically for the Micro Four Thirds mount, because it's a very interesting mount, and just when it started, how it started to where it's got to now, and the rise of the empire, which is obviously full frame, and a lot of stuff that's coming in full frame. So I think I'm gonna let Sean lead this because he's the champion in Micro Four Thirds shooter. So
that's his thing.
Yeah, man. Actually, let's jump into the comments. Hopefully people in the comments are there. Say hi to everyone. On my side, again, yes, we're restreaming at the same time to both my channel and Sean's channel, so it's exactly the same stream, so show love on both sides.
But so Trent, what up? Sean, Jason, what up? I see y'all in here. Appreciate y'all coming through. Who you got on your side, Ben?
So I've got Mr. Fox Tech, my guy in UK. I've got Tanner as well. Tanner's in here, and T's in here as well. So these are the people that we got in here. I see 4 or 5 people in. Let me just open up your tab to your channel as well, so that I haven't missed anything. Olympus has fallen. Yeah, boom. That's cool.
I just shared it out.
Just put the volume
on my Twitter, so we should be good.
Yeah, yo, show love in Sean's chat. Yes, sir. Everyone's in here. Good. this is looking good. I think this is, but guys, this is looking fire cover, man.
Yeah. I'm with it. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, man. Right?
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm Michael 4/3 shooter. You know what I mean? So I guess the question is, like, am I concerned, right, that now that Olympus is falling out this race, what type of support does that mean for Michael 4/3 in the future? And you know, possibly does this affect the GH6? Right? I'm gonna be real. Like right now, for me, like the problem is, man, the GH5 is still so capable. You know, even if like people start to like die down, my camera still bangs. You know what I mean? Like it's
crazy how many people
hard.
still talk about that camera, yo. Like
you know
people go crazy over that camera still.
It's a 2017 camera, and it's still like one of the only cameras that can do 10-bit 422 in all codecs except 4K 60. But we're talking about 422 10-bit 1080p 60 frames per second at a high bit rate as well. You know, at 200 megabits per second at all extra. So it's like, yeah, Olympus has fallen, right? And if Panasonic even decides to stop supporting Michael 4/3, if I decide to say, you know what, I'm still gonna keep my GH5, I'm not in a bad shape. You know what I mean? Like they have all the lenses that I still need for my camera. I have all the lenses I need really now for my camera, except for maybe one, which is the 7200 equivalent. But there's nothing that I'm really missing out on in the Michael 4/3 world, except for, you know, autofocus. Obviously, that's just a GH5 problem, though. But I'm not.
You've been beasting though. Like when every time somebody says autofocus is an issue with the GH5, I automatically think about Sean. I'm like, but he gets it done. You know what I mean? It might be a little bit more of a workaround for him, but if you look at his work, you can't tell. You know what I mean? So I don't even think that's an issue no more. And it goes more into the fact of what me and you be talking about, what people don't really be knowing about cameras. Because I'm like, yo, there's a way you can get around that. Like Sean Cole with the GH5 with bad autofocus. So, you know, that just goes to show you what you always be preaching. So,
prime example, this guy, he's asking about, you know, he said something in the comment section about the XT4 and the GH5. He was like, you know, I really want the XT4 because it got the, you know, it got 10-bit 4K 60. And I'm like, yeah, but you need an external monitor for both to get 4K 60 10-bit 422. So it's like, why do you think you even need that in the first place? Like, what do you grade? So like that's the thing, bro. The GH5, yes, it's Michael 4/3, but it's so good. You know what I mean? Like, it's a dope camera.
It's a beast camera, man. I ain't gonna lie.
To me, Olympus, honestly, I never even really considered Olympus like a
competitor. Go ahead and just say it. Just say it. You didn't because you never heard. If you don't hear of someone or of a company, you just like it's null and void to you when it comes to the camera realm. You know what we may be around or what you guys are around. You know what I mean? So
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like and don't get me wrong, bro. Like the Olympus Mark 1, no, not Mark. It's the third one, the EM Mark 1 3, whatever. I think I know what I'm talking about.
The OMD EM1 Mark 3, yeah.
It's a fantastic camera. And honestly, I really thought Olympus could have got like a head start, you know what I'm saying, or some type of boost. But the problem is, bro, it's still like the fact that the camera only can still only do 4K 30 frames per second. Like some of the stuff they was doing, they were just shooting themselves in their own foot. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, we'd go down a different route, but I feel like Olympus is going to turn into like a lot of other failed camera companies or upcoming failed camera companies if they don't get their act together either. But I am curious though, because now what's so funny is we have different people like Sean, my boy, y'all know him. You know what I'm saying? If y'all saw my love story, me and Sean shot together. He's a full frame enthusiast, I would say. Ben is APS-C, and T goes with what just works. So this is a really good, you know what I'm saying, a good roundabout discussion. So I'm gonna start with you, Ben. With you being an APS-C lover, right? What's your thoughts on this Olympus thing, and do you feel this is going to affect Panasonic?
Yes.
Overall.
So I posted the articles in the Twitter DM guys, so you can have a look at it as well. So obviously it says Olympus is given up. I've got it on the screen as well. So we've got the article on the screen, guys, so you can follow it. We're also still on the screen on a corner, so it's nice and clean looking. I'll start it from this perspective, right? And it says, despite denying, obviously, the rumors that it would exit the camera business, Olympus has done exactly that. Obviously, they're selling it to Japan industrial partners, and they were the same people that bought the PC division from Sony with Vaio, right, back in the day. You know, they said that they're going to go more into like the medical imaging sector and just really push for that. It's unclear how this is going to obviously affect flagship cameras like the EM1 Mark III, which obviously has the best IBIS in any camera, let alone Micro Four Thirds, even better than the G9. And G9's IBIS is crazy, right? It's sad, and this is the angle that I'm coming from, right? Where MFT is different to other sensor sizes is that it's not about the sensor itself, it's the mount. So put it this way, I'll try and break it down that every company has their own APS-C sensor with their own mount type. Every company has a full frame sensor with their own mount type, i.e. whether it's the Z mount, whether it's the E mount, the sensor has a different mount. But what's unique about MFT is the MFT sensor is not just about the sensor. It was an alliance that was built between Olympus and Panasonic as a mount. So then what you get is that any cinema cameras, for example, that used Micro Four Thirds sensors are also using a Micro Four Thirds mount. You see, so through that came that level of accessibility of things like speed boosters, the best adaptability, the best flexibility. So what makes the MFT sensor is the uniqueness of the mount alliance. You see, so it's the alliance of the mount that has now been crippled. It's not really about Olympus being a big heavy hitter, right? It's about the joint alliance of what they created to start that mount beyond just being a sensor size, right? So then you saw that the early days of how that sensor, as well as specifically that mount, progressed so quickly, it was because of that alliance that they had. Now, where I'm worried about MFT being dead is, again, I have no affiliation with Tony Northrup here, but where I see he has a point was that he made a video about when the rumors started circulating about Olympus pulling out, that it just meant the death of MFT. Why? Because Lumix now are putting so much effort into full frame because of the clout that comes with it. I see it as clout. That's just me, right? Let's be honest, don't you think there should have been a GH6 by now, but how quickly GH1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 upgraded? Look at the gap between us getting a GH6. We still don't know that, right? And all the focus that's going on full frame with the S series and them getting the better features, I don't think the S1H should have got ProRes RAW before the GH5 or GH6, but yet it did. So it kind of it's more, and this is where I'm looking at it more from, it's not about Olympus being a heavy hitter. It's the alliance of the mount that has been crippled. And now, Lumix now, not that they don't have the resources, but I don't think they want to put their resources there because of the clout that's coming with all the attention that they're getting with full frame and the progression of the L mount alliance that they've created for that. That's where my point of concern is. So I don't know what you think, Sean Miles.
I have a good debate. I'm gonna let Sean go for this one though.
So
what do you think?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you bring up some valid stuff there, Ben. So my thing is, I think if Panasonic keeps pushing it, we'll still keep seeing Micro Four Thirds cameras. If Panasonic keeps pushing it, because obviously, if once you make a good camera, if it's good, then people will keep using it. Just like the GH5, the GH5S, et cetera, et cetera. The problem is now at the time when the GH5 came out, the tech wasn't really caught up yet, where the full frame sensor cameras, especially these hybrid cameras that are in the hands of photographers who also want to do video, it wasn't there where the full frame cameras could do what the GH5 it does. Now though,
it is. It is.
We're seeing the gap is like rapidly closing. Like we looking at the R6 now, and I'm like, what is going on? Like we getting 4K with no, and it's not crippling. There's no crop. Like we getting full sensor readout and 4K 60 and 4K in general. So
real quick, just want to go ahead and shout out Tanner for the super chat, brother.
Yes,
man.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
You,
Same one, sir.
I don't know how to highlight it up, but thank you though.
No, that's
that's the thing, and it's kind of like a wave right now with the full frame stuff, because you know, all of these cameras, they're all basically hybrid cameras. Like we're not even talking about the cinema camera. That's a whole nother discussion. So
oh yeah, that's a whole nother
these are
discussion.
all that, you know, these are all hybrid cameras where if you can take pictures and you know, you can almost say they're primarily photography cameras that also shoot video. GH5 aside, which was basically built as a video centric camera. So yeah, it's I don't know, man. I just don't think people are really gonna be focusing on it like that. You know, I mean, it's like, why would you? You know, if the tech is there for you to either get an APS-C size sensor or camera, or even a full frame camera with no compromises, then why wouldn't you just go that route? Especially if you got the money, and especially if you got a system that's affordable, like you're looking at Sony with all of their Tamron lenses and lineup. You know, where they're affordable, they're not big, they're not super heavy. So I don't know, man. It's I'm not gonna say it's dead, but
nah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Sean
don't
B,
think it's
what's your take on it then? Hearing it from both sides.
Right.
Hold on, let me
process it.
Give me technically T spot first.
Okay, yeah,
'cause
T. What do you think?
I get some kickbacks for this.
Nah, so I'm kind of going off of what Sean said. It's really about how Panasonic reacts to it. Now, we're not really going to talk about how Olympus actually went down, because just like I said in the chat, I call them like they're one of the LGs of the camera world.
Yeah,
where
that's true.
They make good products, but you don't know about them because you don't market it. You don't get the camera in people's hands, because that's the way you really get your product out there. Get it in people's hands. You know what I mean? They didn't do that. So that's just something that nobody really knows about. So that's probably another reason why nobody knew about them. They've gone and gone now. Nobody really cares on the grand scheme.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Grand scheme.
So, but when it comes to what it does with the Micro Four Thirds platform, I feel like the GH5 has such a strong user base of who uses it. Panasonic needs to see that and realize, like, hey, regardless of what Olympus did, we still have such a strong customer base that loves the GH5. The GH5 was before its time. Now, I didn't really know it was before its time until I really got into cameras. Really, I didn't know much about it because you don't hear a lot of people talking about it on YouTube, because everybody on YouTube uses Sony for just a amount. Until Sean used to be like, yo, this got this 4K 60. And I'm like, damn, really? Like, and for that camera to come out such a long time ago, I'm like, yo, that was ahead of its time. But now Panasonic needs to take that into consideration at this point, because the full frame market is so competitive. What can Panasonic do to set the GH6 like they did when they first came out, away from the platform? You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. What Panasonic has to listen. You know, this is all like a marketing thing at the end of the day. So Panasonic really has to listen and just wait. You can even wait till Canon announce theirs. Wait till Sony announces theirs, and then you can go and figure out what you can do to set it apart from them. That's how I feel.
Sean B.
Sean must feel the same way.
No, drop it, Sean. Drop it.
He hit so much on what I was about to say.
No, good. No, but say it.
Here's the thing. Think about this. Nobody really cared when HTC dropped out the cell phone race. It was like,
we do smartphones. They didn't care.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. So for me, right now, Panasonic has an advantage because they know that people are waiting on the GH6. I don't care how much full frame is out. For me, and I was just telling Sean this right now, the GH5 offers a powerful punch for me in a very compact size. So a 24-70 for y'all is way different than my 24-70. I can put all my lenses in one pouch when I travel. And I was telling Sean, like, man, I want to go the full frame route, but I love the fact that when I travel, my stuff is not heavy. The only full frame camera I would jump to, like real talk, even over the R6, it'd be like a Sony A7S III, and that's because of what Tamron does with their full frame lenses. Tamron, I feel like
shutting the game down.
They're compact, they're small, and they look good. Like that 17 to 28, they 28 to 75, and they 70 to 180.
180, yeah.
You got everything.
Great lenses. So small and compact and light.
So small and compact and light. So that would be the only thing I would go to. But for me, I feel like if Panasonic is like, if anything, they would look at this as an opportunity and an advantage. Because like now we have nobody else competing with us in this market. Now we're the only person that sells this mount that people are still looking for. So if the GH6 comes out kind of like a GH5 again, let's just say if it comes out like internal raw, maybe a 12 to 14-bit color depth, 4K 120. Like I'm talking about, they really pack it the way they packed the GH5. The GH6 gonna last another 4 years.
No doubt. You're right.
So to me, Panasonic, I would look.
The ball is in their court.
The ball is in their court.
It's about their leadership or how they want to move. That's what it's about,
bro.
That's what it's about.
I don't even own no Olympus lenses anyway. And honestly, all the lenses I own are all the lenses I need. You know what I mean? If Panasonic dropped this GH6 with like some really crazy, you know what I'm saying, some crazy specs, and they get phase detect, I'm telling you right now, Micro Four Thirds is still in the game. Like,
okay,
because I feel, and I also feel that brand loyalty is a little bit deeper when it comes to cameras than more so smartphones, because you can invest in a camera ecosystem way more than you can invest into a smartphone. So that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have those people that's waiting for this GH6. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna, regardless of what all full frame is going on, some people just may not need full frame. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's more so, yeah, exactly. It's like you got a group of people. The GH5 has such a strong following. You have a group of people who are so invested in it. They're just waiting. They don't care what Sony is doing. They don't care what Canon is doing. They're just waiting around until the GH6, and they can do that, and they can. It doesn't hinder their performance out in the field because the GH5 is still that much packed with features that they're not pressed to get nothing new right now. They can wait for the GH6. You see what I'm saying? That's real. It's real talk.
Catching up now.
They are just catching up. Literally, they are just catching up.
Some of these sensors can't even. Some of these sensors can't even do a full 4K 60 readout yet. A full sensor readout. The GH5
this guy, you
and it could do recorded unlimited.
That's what I'm saying.
Not chroma subsampling. It has 10-bit 422 internally. So it's like,
yep. The ball is in their court. The ball is in their court like crazy right now.
So if
right now, it's still working.
So if you let me switch up to this, right? It's gonna be on the desktop again. And look at this from, let's go through the release dates of all the GH series to kind of get an idea of when should have the GH6 landed or when should it land, right? Because I agree, the preface is I agree with what you guys are saying. By default, the ball is in Panasonic's court, right? Where I'm trying to make it is that I just feel like I get this sense that the clout that comes with full frame, Panasonic and the Lumix team are loving that, right? Because the same alliance that they create with the MFT mount, they've got the same L mount alliance. They've gone for an alliance.
It ain't selling well though. It ain't selling well. The S1 ain't selling well though.
It ain't selling well.
It ain't selling well. Regardless of being full frame, it ain't really selling that good.
It's not about that. It's not about that. They could have gone two ways. They knew it wasn't gonna sell well straight up from the beginning because they don't have their own mount with their own lenses. That's why they went for the L mount alliance route, obviously between them, Sigma and Leica, because it's going to be easier and quicker to build the lenses up, and it supports all of those mounts because it's one mount, not based on a sensor, it's based on a mount, same as what they did with MFT. So a lens that comes out will work with Sigma's camera with their L mount, right? Or Leica's camera with their L mount. So if there's one lens that comes out, it supports all these three camera bodies. It's an alliance. So they know that doing it via alliance, you can build your lens portfolio a lot quicker to take that initial loss. But based on your track record being so good on MFT and what you did, people will buy into it. Look at what they've done with the S1H and making it as good as it is and having things like ProRes RAW support up to 6K over HDMI. So they know that they've budgeted for that. It's not about selling more straight away, but it's about them plotting for the long term, you see. So I'm looking at it as where would they want to? Would they want to put their resources knowing the clout that's coming with full frame still in MFT? I'm not saying I don't want them to. I want the GH6. I want the GH6. This whole Olympus falling does not make me happy. It's bad. It's bad for the MFT because it's not based on, like I said, if it was Olympus that had their own MFT mount, but they have the same sensor, then who cares? It's like, okay, their mount flopped. It's like Samsung. Samsung with their NX series was an APS-C camera, the NX1, but they had their own mount. The mount didn't get supported. The mistake Samsung made is They didn't get lens support because their mount was rubbish. They should have gone for an alliance route, and they didn't. That's a different issue, but this is an alliance, you see. So if you look on the screen, GH1 first came out March 2009. If we go to GH2, it's just to give an idea of road mapping, right? GH2 was...
Just go to Wikipedia, bro. I do this, like, I checked it out. It'll show it up quicker, too.
Yeah. So GH2...
Okay.
GH2 is what on the screen anyway is October 2010, so exactly a year after, right? Cool. GH3 is 2 years after, November 2012. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
GH4 is 2 years after again, or slightly less, 18 months, because it's May 2014. And then GH5 was January 2017. Well, actually, it says it was announced January, but it was actually 20th of March, so 2 years again. So this is already this is already.
So it's really three though. It's really close to the three from May 2014 to March 2017. What I'm trying to show is there's an inconsistency like with their roadmap.
Right.
Point that out. Like it's not so black and white because like even if you look at the A7 cameras, right? Sony didn't really kind of follow their same.
They didn't at all.
Roadmap either, so you can't really go. I don't really think cameras are trying to go by a roadmap because, to be honest, yes, it's
technology.
It's the technology. So
it's technology.
The came out in 2017, but it's 2020 now, and cameras are just now catching up. So for me, as a camera manufacturer, I wouldn't make one this year. I'd probably announce one and then drop it in 2021, so I can see what the competition did. But if I was Panasonic. Bro, I'm in a.
You gonna have to say something this year. You gonna have to say something though, because the competition is stiff. You got to say something soon. Like
for sure.
Yeah.
They full frame lineup. Every video I see about Panasonic full frame lineup, they all talk about the same thing, and where the GH5 is technically still better than the S1 because they have a bigger sensor, but the autofocus is still shit. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like it's still room. For Micro Four Thirds, for Panasonic, they have some great lenses. Every lens that you want is adaptable in that mount. We got anamorphic support. It would be crazy for Panasonic to just leave Micro Four Thirds alone and focus on full frame.
It would be.
It'd be
wild. It would be. But okay, Sean Miles, let me ask you this: it would be crazy. It would be crazy, right? But do you think now the ball is in their court, right? Do you think Panasonic will actually do it? That's the real question. I
kind of
want
to say no.
I think no. I think no as well.
I started asking myself, like, all right. So at the time when they made the GH5, they said, all right, we want to make a video focused camera that does XYZ, everything that the GH5 does. And I'm sure they had to make some conscious decisions, like, well, we can't really do it with a full frame sensor. We can't really do it with an APS-C sensor. It's just not there yet. So they did it with Micro Four Thirds. Now the climate is totally different. And it's like I said, people are able to do these things. It's getting to the point with much larger sensors that don't have the same problems that the GH5 has. So, you don't have to make sacrifices or do workarounds for low light and things like that. So I found myself asking, like, well, why would they really need to? Especially when you think about the fact that the reason why full frame, when people are trying to jump on this bandwagon so much, is because photographers use full frame. And if you get this, and if you get it in the hands of those people and that group of people, and you get, say, these photographers who want to get into video or photographers who also do video, then it's like they don't need to make these choices. It's like I can get the full frame look. I can have my low light the way that I want it. I have that full frame field of view. If I'm, if I want to throw some cine lenses on there, I don't have to make certain weird adjustments, in terms of framing and stuff like that, because my field of view is just wider. So I don't really feel like they could, and that's what I said. If Panasonic wanted to do it, it would still be around because Panasonic is really the only people that are championing it.
They're the only ones now officially.
They're the only. It's hard to say. I agree with both parts.
I'm on the side of no. I'm being cynical. I know I'm being cynical and saying no, based on the fact that It's not a separate mount, it's an alliance mount. And when you break an alliance, it affects the other person a lot more. And if Panasonic hadn't made the jump to full frame like they did, and as hard as they're going at it, right, then I'll be like, yeah, nah, they're gonna hold it down, because that is their only business model. They've diversified their business model, and they're paying more attention to that, to the new diversification of that business model of full frame, so much where I'm thinking it worries me. It's more of a worry case where you now are paying so much more attention to full frame, right? Which I get, but I'm like, why? That's not how you built your platform, right? You created a great mount with a great sensor with so much capability. It feels like you've low-key abandoned it. The alliance that you've created is now being crippled and fallen. Like, now it just makes me worried that you would be crazy to give that up. You've got the opportunity to kill it, but I don't think they will. I think the clout, and this is what gets on my nerves about full frame as a sensor size in itself. It's not technically, it's the better sensor, because obviously everything gets referenced to it. Depth of field gets referenced to it. Focal length equivalents get referenced to it. So we get it. Right. It's the standard. Even medium format, funny enough, medium format gets referenced to full frame when it comes to focal length equivalents. That's crazy, right? But my point is, it's a clout trap. That sensor is a trap when it comes to expense, physical size, accessibility. Obviously, companies like Tamron and Sigma have made it way more accessible, which I'm very happy with. But options are good. And one good sensor and mount like MFT being crippled this much is not good. It's not good. But the cynic in me feels like Lumix would just look at it like, you know what, the main guy that we started with, he's our partner. They're gone. Nah, man, we don't even want to carry that by ourselves. Full frame is doing us nice. We're getting the attention that we want. We've got the roadmap and the technology for maybe new processes on better manufacturing processes where we can put more power, make it more efficient, get the same thing or more of what we're doing with the GH5, but progress it. Nah, forget it. And that if Panasonic do that, that will hurt me, because it's more than just, even if they do that, the GH5 is fine. It's not about that. It's about the support. You're not going to get maintenance support. You're not going to get firmware support. You're not going to get any, and that worries me. I don't know what you guys see from that, but I see it from that angle.
Go ahead, Sean, because I got an angle, but go ahead, Sean. I got to see what's wrong with it.
Though for Panasonic, Panasonic is still dropping firmware updates for the GH5S, for the G9, and for the GH5. Firmware 2.6 just came out this year. They're still dropping lenses for it. They're still like, you know what I'm saying? They're still like the 10 to 25 just came out last year. Like, they're still making lenses for it. So I don't really feel that they've abandoned Micro Four Thirds at all. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I hope so.
Getting the recognition. The only camera that people talk about when it comes to Panasonic is the S1H. Nobody talks about the S1 like that, and nobody talks about the S1R like that. The S1H, everybody always says.
I forgot there was an S1R. I forgot there was an S1R.
Is a beastly GH5. The GH5, a 3-year-old camera, is still referenced to a 2020 full frame camera that came out.
It is. It is.
The GH5 Micro Four Thirds is not forgotten.
No,
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
It's
Go ahead, T.
No, I'm saying the ball. Like I said, it goes back to the ball being in their court. So would you rather? And I'm thinking about more so because y'all know camera technology a little bit more than I do. I'm thinking about it more so on the business side, the marketing side of things.
Man, bro.
Would you put your money into the S1H, the S1, and everything that's not really selling good, and that's for a specific niche at this point? Would you put your money in that, or
but they're doing that?
Would you put your money? But would you rather put your money in something that will for sure sell way better than any of those full frames that's out there right now? If they drop the GH6 right now, it will shut. Okay. It will not say it's going to shut it down, but it will.
But bro,
I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to go with it. I mean, it was just perform way better than those full frame because they're not selling well. Nobody's talking about their full frame, even though the full frame gets that clout. Panasonic full frame isn't getting that clout. You know what I mean?
I disagree. No. I disagree, bro. Why did they link up with Atomos and not enable ProRes RAW on the G8 series? Why is it getting that attention on the full frame? But this is what I'm
because
saying.
that's the new thing. That's the new thing out there right now.
Why would you put such an advanced codec, right, on a new thing when your established mount where the technology has been perfected, you have not enabled that when that mount and that camera has had HDMI 2.0 full size from time. They should have done it. They could have done it. This is the argument I'm making, that it's not about initial sales. It's not about initial sales.
No, it's not.
For all your loyal video makers that use GH5Ss and use GH5s, I think it would have been better that you enabled something like ProRes RAW over HDMI 4 Micro Four Thirds. It upset me that the S1H got that before the GH series. It shouldn't have been the case. That's an indication of someone's R&D priority, their expenditure, and the partnership that they're building and what they think. So look at Atomos. Atomos is an Australian company, right? They've gone to them, and in the partner room, Atomos are trying to build companies that support this ProRes RAW codec that they've built with Apple, right? Lumix has gone there, and they've basically said that we personally believe our full frame is going to be the better option to focus on, to do this and develop with. I think, to me, that tells a sneaky little story about what they're trying to focus on, which I think is wrong. I'm not agreeing with. I want you guys to understand, I'm not agreeing with the move that they've made, but the cynic in me is making me worried about their decision making and how they're not really focusing on MFT. That's what I mean about. That's what I'm saying. The ball is in their court, but
this is just my IT background kicking in. Are we certain
that
are we certain that the processor in the GH5 could actually push ProRes RAW?
Yep. 100%.
We're certain of that.
Yep. I'm
100% certain.
No, Sean, I'm gonna tell you why you're right.
Look, he gonna make me dig in my IT bag. Hold on.
I'm just.
And the G9 has a different sensor and a different autofocus system than the GH5. Like the G9 and the GH5S technically has better autofocus than the GH5 because that's just the oldest sensor. So there's it's a limitation. So obviously, if I'm a new company, I would want, well, not a new company, but if I got a new camera out, sure, Atomos, put ProRes RAW on my new full frame sensor. I know this is a new thing, but I guarantee you, the GH6 when it drops is going to have ProRes RAW. And probably
without a doubt.
Right, for sure.
Do you know why I disagree with that? Yeah, the C300 Mark II is an older camera than the C200, right? It's an older technology-based cinema camera, and that has ProRes RAW. How RAW is processed is with it. No, but how RAW. Bro, how RAW is
Canon.
processed?
Canon does things.
No. It's not about Canon. You talked about it from a technology standpoint. It's old tech that's in the C200 Mark II. Old tech. We're talking about not differences. He said from technology standpoint, how RAW is processed is within the name. It's bypassing everything the camera does internally, so long as there's enough bandwidth that comes out of, again, the port that is doing it, whether it's an SDI 6G, 12G port or a HDMI 2.0 port, which the HDMI 2.0 port has more than enough bandwidth. It's full size, right? There's more than enough power that's inside the GH5 to do that. The heat management's on point, right? Why do you think that we're able to update it to have internal 400 megabits per second all live from before? It never had that before. And the gap between that firmware update from when the GH5 came out to when it had an anamorphic 6K was a long time. It didn't come out straight away. So based on the derivative of that, there's more than enough tech in the GH5. So that's why I don't agree from tech-wise.
Why does the G9 and GH5S have? Why is it that they were able to get a specific update for their autofocus and the GH5 was not?
Bro, do you know why? Because when it came to what those cameras stand for, they're more photography based. Remember this: G9 internally, 4K 60. No, bro, G9 internally is a photography based camera that has a 10-minute record limit for 4K 60. So it's about the focus of it. All they decided to do was make it more of a value based product. Because they know that there's enough tech in us to do it. Let's enable it anyway to add more value, right? And that's one thing I love about Panasonic. They do stuff great like that, right? They could have done it for the GH5, but they decided that, hey, we've put so much focus on the GH5, right? Let's focus more on these other products and add more value so that when people invest, they get more out of it.
That doesn't make sense to do though. If the GH5 and the GH5S and the G9 are all part of a specific system, but I don't want to beat that too much though, like because this is like Olympus. We kind of beat the MFT thing
down.
No, but that's the main focus of the chat tonight, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to nerd out a little bit on
there
that specific aspect of it because I'm really curious about, especially when you brought up the C300 Mark II and Mark III. I just want to know what the capabilities of those two processors are compared to the GH5, because I know it's weird stuff like with the A7 III has a different processor than the A7R4, and the A7R4 has the better autofocus. It has the subject tracking stuff that my camera can't get.
I'm thinking about heat. I'm thinking about a bunch of different things, man.
I'm not exactly an engineer.
Okay, so I don't
know what the circuit board and stuff.
I can give the breakdown, right? The C300 Mark II has a limitation where, as a cinema camera with an APS-C sensor, it cannot shoot 4K 60, right? Internally, it cannot do 4K 60. The C200 can, but the problem with the C200 is it doesn't have good intermediary codec options. What I basically mean by this is this. Either you shoot Cinema Raw Lite in 12-bit, or you can go to MP4 in 8-bit. There isn't a 10-bit option in between. Okay. Right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's the C200, but
that.
the C200 can do 4K 60. It can do 4K 60. But my point is, the C200 hasn't been allowed the ability to shoot external ProRes RAW through its SDI port. But yet, the older camera on the C300 can, even though it's got older tech. And it's all because of, one, Apple licensing, two, how RAW is processed. It's the recorder that does most of it. It does all the debayering. So long as the actual port and sensor has enough bandwidth to be able to deal with it, it offloads all of that. That's what RAW does. That's why when you get raw footage tends to have more noise because it bypasses the internal noise reduction that the camera does. This is where I disagree with the fact that saying that the GH5 doesn't have the technology and the limitation to get ProRes RAW, it's not there. It was a decision to make full frame look a lot better. That's my issue.
It's a 2016 sensor. Like, you know
it's not about the sensor, bro. The Sony FS5. Go look at the Sony FS5.
Think about that.
No, he does. So if you look at a camera like the 5D Mark II, can actually be tweaked out to shoot RAW.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Look at. I
forgot about that.
Look at the Sony,
like Magic Lantern type,
bro. Look at the Sony FS5. Look at Sony FS5. Yeah. The Sony FS5 and FS5 Mark II are using Sony's oldest Super 35 sensors. And I mean, when they're old, I'm talking about they are so old that it's ridiculous how they're still using in these cameras. Those cameras can still shoot external ProRes RAW because they got enabled. We're talking about Mark I and Mark II. But these are camera sensors from before 2010. So the tech inside is old, the sensor's old. So it's not about that. How RAW is processed is based on the recorder, bandwidth of the port, and also licensing. That's how Cinema DNG RAW was done.
Why does the 6600 has better autofocus than the A7 III?
Nope. The autofocus is different. Autofocus is different. But we're talking about features like.
Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying is.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
What I'm basically saying is.
Yeah. So here.
Yeah, go on, Sean. Rock it. No, Sean, go.
Yeah, he has a point. So the autofocus thing, that's handled internally in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So you need the camera's processor to process that. But RAW through HDMI, I completely forgot about the 5D Mark II and
FS2
tweaking the camera out to do it. Yeah, so then it kind of does lead me to think that it's just a conscious decision that they made not to enable it on the GH5.
And that annoys me.
And instead,
that annoys me. I'm more annoyed at the fact that you're abandoning what made your brand on point
Your
by
brand.
not yet, and that to me is what is bad about this whole Olympus falling. What is bad about
we don't know if they're going to take that in consideration. We don't know if that's going to affect their whole business model.
I hope
yet,
not.
Though.
I hope
this
not.
just happened. You know, this just happened. This is super fresh right now into the camera world. So we don't know what Panasonic is thinking. They're talking about it. They're talking about it as hard as we're talking about it right now in their meeting room. Trust and believe it. But if they're smart, I know the clouds will full frame, but your GH5 was a staple in the camera industry.
It's still a
you know what I mean?
It's
like you would be a fool just to leave that alone completely. Like you would really lose some people. You would really lose a lot of people. Like I feel like you'll lose a lot of people.
On top of that, there's a possibility that now that Olympus is out the race, they may look at this and be like, you know what?
We about to boss up.
We gonna have this
yeah.
Like it's so fresh that you know what I'm saying.
Fresh.
You know what I mean? Because
we gotta wait. We gotta wait and see. We're in the waiting and see right now. Like we just gotta wait and see what they do. That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
So
just wait and see what they do.
Here's.
Go ahead, Sean.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Here's a question though.
Mm-hmm.
So with what these full frame cameras are starting to be able to do, right? Even APS-C, when you look at the XT4, what exactly would they need to do?
What can they
if
offer?
They came out with a GH6 to make it like really competitive.
Well, just like I said, they have to do what they did when they first came out. They have to set themselves apart from what's going on right now. You know what I mean? Because they did that then. So now they have to do it again. If you did it then, you can do it again. You know what I mean?
Sean, if they came out where you can shoot like 14-bit internal in the GH6, nobody else is doing that.
Nobody.
They could really shut some stuff down.
But you know, would they do that? Because then it's like, well, then you're really kind of getting into cinema camera specs, you know.
And
like,
then I could put that into the full frame. This argument can go both ways, like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yo, it can.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's talk about. I don't know if y'all had a chance to check it out, but we get to talk about the Z5 or what y'all think about the R6 or the XT4 since banned. Well, we all use it. You know what I'm saying? T, you on it right now. Ben, I don't know if you know what I'm saying. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and let you whatever. You know what I'm saying? You was with me when we was testing out the XT4, so we can go either way. It's Z5, R6, XT4. I'll let y'all pick.
Okay, before
I don't really know the Nikon side. Nikon, I don't really know much about that whole Nikon Z6, Z5. You know,
before we Nikon who? What is that?
Before we do progress, I sent you a tweet with the specs of the R5 in the Twitter DM. Because if I go into the Discord chat, it's gonna collapse the video, and I don't want to.
I see it.
Any chat, just put in the Twitter DM that we've got, right? So it's just gonna quickly answer Sean Miles's question of what does the GH6 need to do to make it relevant. It needs to do okay, it can't do up to 8K because of the sensor size, right? But it needs to do up to 6K with everything pretty much very close to what the R5 is doing. We're talking about 4K up to 120 full sensor readout. It needs to do that. Why I'm saying it needs to do that is if it wants to put technology that will take 3 to 5 years for everyone else to catch up, like what the GH5 did.
True.
Based on that principle, it needs to do that. I think so.
Because the R5 is the new staple. If they do this, what's rumored, and they don't do no crazy cripple hammers, the R5 is the new staple to what needs to happen. Now, that makes a good point. Ben. Like, this is going to be the new standpoint. This is going to be the new, this is it. This is the prerequisites that's going to be, anything's going to need to have. But price point matters too. So,
Also, in all fairness too, though, we have to keep in mind that we haven't seen anything from this camera yet. Like, we haven't seen any.
We ain't seen nothing. This is rumors. This is
right.
Leaks and specs rumors right now.
You know what I'm saying? Right now, this is all specs. So, like,
it is.
This is actually implemented. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we just
we gotta make sure they don't, because they're gonna cripple something. There's no way,
bro.
And we can get into this later on or whenever, but I feel like they're gonna cripple something that's gonna have everybody like, see, I knew this was gonna happen. You know what I mean? But we don't know. They may not. They may not.
So
we can get into that. I don't know, Ben, if you want to go there.
No, man. I
don't
think
know.
they are.
So for
that's what I said. I don't know. I don't know.
So for the audience, so guys for the audience, I have put that tweet that I sent you on the screen. So it's on the screen. They can see it. We're in the corner.
That bad
and
boy.
They
that
can
bad
see
boy heavy there, boy.
They can see what we're talking about. The reason why I'm saying that is because of the physical sensor size, there'll be too much of a low light penalty if they went with an 8K resolution inside of a micro four thirds sensor. 8K is about 33 megapixel, so they can't do that, right? But what they can do is they can push it as far as 6K, right? 6K is 6000 by 400. It's about 24 megapixels. Maybe because GH5 is a 20 megapixel camera. So if they go with the GH5S sensor, which is slightly wider and slightly bigger, they go with dual native ISO, right, for better low light, and they push up the resolution to 24 megapixels, they can enable 6K. So yes, they don't need 8K, but they do need to put 6K up to 30 frames a second, if 60, if they can, if it's a new sensor that can really read out quick versus a new processor, and everything else that the R5 is doing. And when I say everything, even if it doesn't do internal RAW, fine, but it has to do 6K external ProRes RAW, just like what the S1H is about to get with the Atomos Ninja V, where it does 6K ProRes RAW outside of the HDMI. It has to do 4K 120. It has to do 4K 120 with the 10-bit, basically everything. But internal RAW, it has to do everything that is doing there minus the 8K. So 6K up to 30, if 60, for it to be relevant.
I'm gonna be real with you, Ben. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
And I know where Sean going with this. I bet.
If the GH6 gives me 4K still,
it can't, bro. It can't.
Wait, just let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay, let him finish.
If the G6 gives 4K, you know what I'm saying, like 120, or if they did 6K up to 30, I don't even need 60. But to be honest, like we can even talk about this 6K 8K thing, man. Like that's
boy,
that's no point of us talking.
It's a selling point. It's a selling point. That's all that is. That's all that is.
But it needs to have it.
Becoming affordable. It's just becoming.
I'm a tech person. I just got a damn 4K TV in 2020. So
no, but guys, where
our clients none of our clients are watching their stuff back on a 4K.
But
TV.
Ben, you're saying that
it needs
now should have 8K.
No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's about the bar being raised. And when the bar's being raised, that's what has to happen. A lot of things then, when Panasonic brought out the GH5, didn't need it. They brought it because it was about raising the bar and moving the things forward, right? That's what the GH series represents. And if it represents the same thing, doing just things like, hey, if it just gives me this, it's enough, it's not good enough. That's not what it represents. If it's meant to represent, and T, this is your statement, if it's meant to represent what they did when the GH5 came out in terms of raising the bar and making sure that technology will last for 5 years and people will grow into it, and even by then it's still room, it needs to do the same thing. So it's not about, hey, if it comes and it still gives me just 4K, it's enough. Then what's the point? Why did you bring it out if you're not doing anything to move it forward?
If the GH has faith and it has some really good,
has to have 6K.
If it gets phased, even with 6K, we say 6K, it's going to outsell the R5.
Yeah, it has to have, bro. It has to have 6K.
Ooh, boy, that's bold there, down.
No, it will. I agree with Sean on that one. It will.
It's because it's undermining what's needed, and besides what's being advertised. You know what I mean? Like what's being advertised. Like, okay, same with the S20 Ultra, or that we can shoot in 8K. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like nobody's even focused on that. You need to work on things that people are focusing on. That's where I feel like the GH6 can come undercut all of this, because
it will.
You're selling everybody on super high specs, but that's not your selling point. So let me do I may not can do that, but let me do everything else below that very well.
Very.
And then you're good. So that's why I feel like GA6 still has an out. And I don't beat this topic to death. We got to move on to something else, but it has an opportunity to do that. Don't get caught up in the 8K. Don't get caught up in those spec wars, because you know specs don't mean a damn thing if you want to be technical about all of this camera talk. You see what I'm saying? It's about the user experience, and that's what Sean and both Sean's all. That's why I kind of grabbed from y'all. I've learned that from y'all. Like, it's about the user and how they use their equipment. So that's where I feel like GA6, man, don't put all your dice in that full frame, man. You can do something big with the GA6 and undercut all of this and come out on top. You know what I mean?
So let's shift. Like, that's a good shifting point right there, right? When it comes to specs and stuff like that, I am a, you know what I'm saying? And Sean had to really, I was a gas person. Okay.
Me too. Sean, I be thinking about what Sean be telling me back in the day. Like, that's real.
It's a constant.
It's a constant battle. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if something doesn't fundamentally change the way you shoot, that means you shouldn't buy it. Like,
that's true.
Add such a great value to what you're doing already, then 9 times out of 10 you don't need it. Like right now, I said like I want another lens. Do I need another lens? No.
You're good. But
the lens I have right now, you know what I'm saying? Do I need another camera? No, I don't. And I really do feel like when you are a creator,
it's hard, man.
Sometimes, like for real, like let's keep it a butt. Sometimes we buy it so we can be like, yo, my camera, I got the boy on the block right now. You know what I mean? You know, when I pull this joint out, people gonna be like, oh, okay, you are for real videographer. This is what you do. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't really matter what camera I got in my hand. Sean and I tested this theory out. It doesn't matter what camera I put in his hand. I put my camera in his hand. He gonna make fire. He put his camera in my hand. I'm gonna make fire. At the end of the day, it's the person behind it.
No doubt. Now that's the damn truth.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
And two quick things, touching back on real quick. I'm gonna just say this out the gate. If Panasonic comes out with any new camera that doesn't have phase detect autofocus, it's a non-starter.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry. I'm for me 100%. I don't want anyone to make I don't want no one to make any excuses going forward for Panasonic if they do not adapt phase detection autofocus. I'm sorry. It's not, and this topic is not about relying on autofocus all the time. It's about the bar's already been set. Why are you being the only sheep and the outlier? What are you trying to prove? Why are you trying to make a good thing out of a bad thing? It's still a bad thing. Let go of what you're doing. That from defocus is rubbish. You've made it the best that you could. Leave it. Stop making excuses for it. Anyone, if GH6 comes out and it doesn't have even first generation Sony phase detect autofocus, get out. Sorry, I'm not touching that.
So Sean, I always had to ask this, Sean, is the autofocus on the GH5 that bad?
Listen,
don't even lie. Don't you even fix your mouth.
Just give me. I don't need the explanation. I don't need that because he gonna rebuttal the hell out of it. He gonna give me a corporate response.
We need it.
Yes or no, Sean? That's all I need to know. Is it that trash? Is it trash? Be real.
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
I'm gonna be real.
But Sean,
I'm gonna be real.
But Sean, do you know why you're being real now? And it's not your fault. It's almost like a prison Stockholm syndrome thing, right? Because that's all you were using. Yeah, it's almost like the cracker analogy. Nah, bro, that cracker analogy.
The cracker. I don't know if you seen the video. It's like if you are in the desert, right? The autofocus between GH5. If you out in the desert and you ain't had no food in months, and somebody brings you a cracker, you go, oh my god.
Bro, when he said that, yeah, I messaged him straight away, and I'm like, bro, you're a clown for that. You're actually
that is too real though.
And technically the XT4 autofocus it's good, but it ain't like on the Sony level.
Man.
But come from GH5, it's like, man,
and this is where I see it as this. For all the firmware updates and the energy that you've put into a bad autofocus system, imagine if you put that same energy into a good autofocus system. You would have probably been class leading.
That's true.
Listen,
That's true.
There's
That's true.
a good opportunity for Panasonic to buy Olympus phase technology, though.
Bro. And this is where I'm getting annoyed.
Panasonic is doing.
And this is what I'm saying. I'm getting annoyed that why are they missing? I feel like low-key, we don't know what gets discussed behind closed doors, but I feel like their focus is clout-based. And I hate that. I hate when companies get caught up in clout. And I think they're just getting caught up in full-frame clout.
We gotta see, in order for us to know that, we have to see what their next move is.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll know if they're cloud-based or if they're loyal fan
exactly.
Base,
Thank you.
On Panasonic's next move.
Thank you.
That negates this whole thing.
Thank you.
Both of us, we there's some good arguments. I agree with, because me and Sean, I feel like on the same wave, and Sean and Ben on the same wave. I agree both sides 100%.
Same.
I can go either way. It depends on, and I think this is a segue to go to get off Micro Four Thirds. We beat that damn thing all the way down, but it really depends. And we can revisit this once Panasonic shows us what they want to do. What is your business model going to be going forward?
Mm-hmm.
That's when we'll know if they're cloud based or if you're customer fan loyal based.
Bro.
That's it.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
We're gonna see, and that'll make or break a company. It just depends on, do you listen? Because you know, companies, especially camera companies, even smartphone companies, I kind of like to bounce them off and compare them, you know, as the same. Either you listen to your customers or you just do what you want to do. Like Apple, they do what they want to do. They don't care what the hell the customer says. But when you have an Android device or something like that, they kind of will take in consideration on what the customer wants. So it just depends on what Panasonic wants to do. The ball is 1,000% in their court. What do you want to do? What side do you want to listen to? And we're going to go from there.
And I love that. Why I'm saying I love that. I love that because now the scope is on them so much. Like,
it's on them heavy.
Every move that they make, and for me,
I'm on your ass.
if they don't bring face detection autofocus, and if they don't make this right move to GH6, any person that was on Micro Four Thirds, I will tell them that, look, for me personally, I wouldn't, and this is one of the reasons why I made the switch to Fuji, right? Because they look like they are progressing in a way where they want to work with people, they take criticism, they listen, and they want to push technology forward and still remain loyal. And those things are the sign of a good company and where they're going. Even if things are still not perfect, but if let me just bring up, I'm going to share this tweet that I created based on a hypothesis, right? So let me just bring this up.
What you do, what you say going forward, kind of can represent of what I feel about you right now. You know what I mean? That's kind of where it's coming from. Like, we'll see where you're going forward, kind of, and that's kind of the reason why I went a Fuji route, because if you look at the other brands on what the improvements that they've made, they really ain't listening to nobody. They did what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? Instead of actually doing what everybody said was wrong with the previous model, you improved. That's what I feel like Fuji did, coming from the XT3 to the XT4, where Sony, we've been asking Sony and Canon, especially Canon head. We can bang Canon head all day, but they just still do what they want to do, regardless of where the industry is, regardless of what everybody has said. They're gonna want to do what they want to do. So that was kind of the reason why I kind of too. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like where they're forward progressing and where I see them going. So
I've sent you guys. Go on, Sean. Go.
So let me ask you this question, T. Even with the R6 coming out and you own an XT4 now, you know,
T will switch. T will switch. T will switch. I'll call it now. T will switch, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Now listen,
it's not a bad thing.
I'm a person who likes I like.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Regardless of whether it's phones or whether it's cameras, I like new stuff.
Yeah,
I have because I still have a soft spot for Canon.
No, you will switch.
If the USR didn't have the crop in 4K and had 1080 120, I probably would use a USR. But that crop, I shoot in 4K. That crop, I don't even care about forget that. I don't even care about the 120 because I don't do slow mo for what I do. If you didn't have a crop for 4K in the EOS-R, I would take that user experience over everything else because I love the simple and user experience. You see what I'm saying? And the
T will switch.
I would take that. I would take that. If the R5 with R6, if it does everything uncropped, all this, that's why I'm not buying a B cam right now. That's why I'm kind of wait. But the thing comes in, I don't want a Fuji and a Canon. I will have to have all one brand.
Yeah, that's fine. Right. That makes sense. Right.
That makes sense. Like I almost would get an EOS-R again now, almost because I'm not buying 2R6s. I'm not doing that. Or I get a 90D. A 90D is completely fine to me. Like the 90D
or the RP,
or RP. Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like I'm waiting right now to see where I want to go. I like Fuji, but I don't know if I want to heavily invest in them, knowing that I personally like native lenses. You know what I mean? They're native. So go ahead, Sean.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. Me and Sean, we go back and forth about that shit a lot too. You know, I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. The XT4 looks good. Okay, looks real good, and I ain't gonna lie, I want it. But the only thing is, I would hate to go from Micro Four Thirds to APS-C because it just doesn't make sense to me. But to be real, the APS-C does offer a lot of what I like about Micro Four Thirds, if that makes sense. Like,
it does. It does.
I like the smaller body. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. The Sony bodies are very, very small. That's why I'm really looking at this A7S III when they drop.
They need
but also too,
we gonna talk about. We gotta get into that. We gotta get into the A7S III.
We'll get into that. I'm telling you, the guy.
Sean Miles, I know you on the same wave, so
yeah.
The price gotta be right for the, because even if let's say if the A7S III come out and they're like, we want 3 bands, man, the XT4 is still looking good because it's like, well, you only want 2.
That's what I feel like Sony gonna do.
It will be a $3,000 camera.
I forgot what we gonna segue next. Where we segueing next? Are we going Canon or are we going Sony right now? Where we going with this? Let's go ahead and figure out right now.
I'll finish on this one because that will be a segue into obviously what's coming. So I sent you guys a tweet in terms of predictions, right? So have a quick look at that. The reason why I say that, and it's a good segue into the full frame and what's coming with the A7S III. Okay, and this is where I get why, for me, I don't, because of the benefit of the compact size from lenses to body, right, is where I like APS-C. APS-C is like the perfect middle ground. And by principle, all the greatest films that have ever been shot have all been shot on APS-C Super 5 sensors. So knowing that in my mind, I'm thinking, not only is it good enough, but it's progressing almost as fast as Micro Four Thirds was when it comes to feature set and usability. So it's not just about the specs, but it's about specs being done right to be usable. Right? Look at when the XT1 first came out. XT1 first came out January 2014. 2 years later, XT2. Again, 2 years later, XT3. 18 months later. So what I put as a prediction is XT5, based on that progressiveness of how they listen to their customers and their user base and upgrade, I feel like the XT5 will be coming around somewhere around July 2022, sorry. Right? And that level of progression shows that, one, like, they listen. 2, they want to raise the bar always. Bro, up to the X-T2, no one cared about Fuji when it came to video. Video on Fuji was trash. Not like okay, trash. Not I'm not mincing my words. Trash. Yeah. So let's not. No, it's just a fact. And then all of a sudden, if you guys haven't seen it, shameless plug, my XT3 review, I kind of went in and went there. It still shocks people, even now, the specs that the XT3 had, some people didn't realize. And that's how under the radar Fuji went with how they listened and they thought, man, why do we keep getting ripped about video? Guys, go back to the drawing board. People care about this. We care about what people say. We care about users. Let's do this. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. So then it's the same.
Speaking of.
Yeah, go on, Sean.
Speaking of that, seems like Canon is taking a page out of.
Thank you. Book. Perfect.
No doubt about it.
There we go.
But they had
damn.
Yeah.
They got
I
to
mean,
because they've been the apple of Canons for all these years. They have to get that moment of clarity back of being Canon to start this whole thing. Like, you got to get this back. That's why I'm like, I hope. And I love Canon. I started off, that was my first camera. Those cameras, SL2, M50, those are my M100. Those are my first cameras where I started with real cameras on my channel. And I'm just like,
SL2 for me.
Yeah, for once, can you just do right? Just do right for once. Because this is where it's going to come. It's going to be, I want to see the competition in a non-crippled R series and the A7S, A7S3 or A7 IV, whatever it's going to be called. That's what I want to see.
Here's my thing, team. The reason why I'm hyped for the R6 and the R5 and stuff like that, I am.
Yeah.
But I just showed Sean this screenshot maybe like a few days ago. The Canon
Right.
1DX Mark III, spec-wise, is a crazy camera, right?
Stupid crazy.
Under a lot. So on the DxO Mark ratings, they got an 83, and it performed worse than like a Panasonic S1H, Nikon E5350, something like that. It performed worse than the Canon 1DX Mark II. So what that goes to show me is like, yeah, Canon, y'all put out a lot of specs and stuff, but how is it gonna perform
out there in that field, like what y'all be talking about?
Because
yeah, right.
In a photo anything, and you are a photo camera. The S1H got an overall score of 100 versus the Canon 1DX Mark III, which is almost 2 times as much as that camera, got an overall score of 3. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
So it just depends. Like you said, then that's true. Now that is true. And I'm gonna leave it that to the videographers like y'all.
Though I'm sure it still shoots phenomenal video though.
Right.
You know, like, but I get, I do get that though. And I was surprised that, you know, in terms of the photography rating, that it performed worse than its predecessors, the 1DX Mark II. So I was like, what? How does that even happen?
So DX, you gotta take DxO with a grain of salt though.
But that's also true. Yeah, that's also
DxO hit or miss. You know what I mean?
So it's just like, but my thing is this: Canon right now has a history of crippling their cameras.
No doubt.
So until we can see, you know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff's good. You know what I mean? It's just I need to see more,
bro.
That's true. Me
where
too.
I'm on your side. Where I'm on your side is Canon were in the same position Fuji was with the X-U2, where they've got more of a point to prove now, where when Fuji was getting dumped on for their rubbish video, they got fed up and thought, damn, like, and that I like that. I like it when a company takes on their chest, they care enough to be like, go back to the drawing board and don't come back until you bring something that's actually not just good enough, but it raises the bar to the point where it shuts people up. We need to shut people up. And I like that energy Canon is coming on, because I low-key think, and this is me going by faith, right? Because it's the same faith I went with the XT4, and I'm kind of glad that without even with all the shortcomings it has, people are starting to see that the XT4 and where Fuji are going, even up to 2022, like I made a prediction of when the XT5 comes out, and the XH-II, right? Fuji are onto something. And I feel like Canon looked at Fuji and how they turned themselves around since the XT2 in a very short space of time and thought, F it, we're going to do the same. Because we are Canon. We've got the heritage. We've got the best lens selection. We've got the best lens development. We have got the history. Why are we being disrespected and being crapped on now? Why not just prove them that we've got it? And I like that energy. That's big cojones energy. And I like that.
We gonna see.
If the R6 comes out, right? Because supposedly now Sony's waiting, which is smart.
Waiting
to
see what it has.
They're waiting out.
Yeah.
Right. But if Sony, I'm gonna say it right now, if the A7S3 got 4K 60 10-bit, I'm going A7S3.
Will it though?
No, without a doubt.
Will it though? But will it though?
You know what I'm saying?
It has to.
It has to. It has to. But will it? But will it?
A7 III such a staple, you have to. That should be an easy mute point.
And
for
I
you.
agree.
Like,
I agree.
That should be a winner. You know what I mean? Like the A7 III brought it.
And it's crazy what Tamron with their lenses, and the E mount is so
flexible,
ridiculous.
E-mount crazy.
Flexible.
I thought thought the Canon mount was crazy. E mount is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how flexible that mount is. So for me, like, yeah, Canon, the R6 drop, yeah, it's gonna be fire, the R5 and all that. But if the A7S III got one thing, 4K 60 and 10-bit, that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Exactly
I think it needs to have. I think it needs to have an articulated screen. I think it needs to have an articulated screen.
Sony are stubborn when it comes to that.
Okay, this is the reason why I say that, because I'm going on the YouTube content creation side.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
the A7 III is the most popular YouTube content creation camera out there. Point blank. Period.
I agree.
Go ahead. Yeah, I think
photographers don't care. Like true photographers, I think you guys are always the ones that's against the fully articulated screen. From what me just reading the media, from me just reading with the X-T4 with different cameras, when I'm talking about true photographers, they don't necessarily care about the fully articulated screen, because brands these days are always going towards the vloggers. They always gonna make the vloggers their main selling point. But I do feel like in the age right now, it needs to have an articulated screen. The Canon has one.
I agree.
Has one. Panasonic has one.
I agree.
Everybody has one. That is going to either maybe we'll jump like, oh damn, finally they did it. Look how crazy they went over the ZV-1 for it having an articulated screen. And I just don't believe in that that ZV-1 personally.
Yeah,
so
same,
it's just like,
it's not my type.
Look how everybody, because they made an articulated screen. All the Sony ambassadors they sent that camera to. If Sony puts an articulated screen in their full frame bodies, they're gonna send those ambassadors. It's gonna go nuts.
I agree.
I
agree. They need to. I just don't have faith in them to do it. I don't know.
What I think at a minimum is gonna happen, if you look at their track record with their camera so far, at a minimum, it's gonna have the flip up screen that the 6600 has.
I don't think it's gonna have an articulated screen. I personally don't think it will. I don't
agree.
think it will.
I don't.
I think
everything
with that flip up, that look of the A7 III with the EVF
in the middle.
That's what I'm thinking.
It won't work.
How are they going to do it? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Yeah, you're right.
It may though, but I honestly feel that
that's a hell of an inch.
It won't.
Only because
flip up
the A7S III is not geared towards your regular content creator. The A7S III really is.
It's not, but Sean. Let me add to like T. Sean, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. Although it's not geared to, same as the S1H, but the S1H has a Swiss Army knife screen. It's a tilt up, push out, and flip out screen.
Like the S1H, like you gotta remember, Panasonic is known.
But even still, if your competition is doing it, you need to do it. So it's not about what you're known for. You're playing in arena. So I agree with T. I'm just saying I don't have faith in Sony doing it, even though they should, because the competition is doing it. I don't have faith in them doing it. So it's not about, because Panasonic is known for that, they should do, right? They didn't put a flip out screen on the S1 and the S1R, but they're known for it, right? But they did in the S1H. I know they did,
strategic.
and that's what I'm saying, that at that arena, the R5, the S1H, and the A7S III are competing in that arena. S1H, R5 have flip out screens. Sony, you have to do it, but will they do it? That's the question based on their track record. I don't think so. And this is where it's like I'm thinking, come on.
I think it comes down to, like you said, the competition. Look at the X-T4, you look at the R5, you look at the R6. Now, I do think it's pretty compelling though that they are doing it. Period.
Yeah.
In the ZV-1, we've never actually seen them do a fully articulated screen in any camera.
That's true.
So I think if you're talking about the A7S III and you're looking at the climate, I'm like, bro, you kind of need to. You need to do it.
You need to do it. You need to do it.
I'm gonna say this: if they do it, I hope they do it like the S1H.
Yeah.
When I was on Sean, it was actually more beneficial to have it where I didn't have to flip out my screen
all the time.
Off the axis, you know what I mean? It was nice. I could flip it directly up, and when I do a low, I can still look down.
I agree. S1H
screen. And actually, I mean, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually prefer just the tilt up screen. I'm behind the camera all the
I want
time. I
both.
don't like
I
having to
want
look
both, like
off
the Panasonic
to the
S1H.
side.
I want the S1H screen on everything. Like
Yes.
Panasonic just proved that you don't have to choose. We can give you both. And this is what I mean about raising the bar. So when we thought you couldn't, when you raise the bar and you can, you're like, oh, okay, so you can do it. Now you guys need to line up
Right.
and put your R&D into design as well and get to doing it. If it means you have to buy 10 or 20 S1Hs and break them down and reverse engineer it to see it, that's R&D money. You're spending R&D to be like, heck, hold on, how did they do it? Let's see how they did it. Let's, reverse engineer it and make it our style or pretty much the same without breaking any patents and implement it as well, because you can have both. And like Sean, you just proved a good example that the benefit of when you want to flip it out to when you need to flip it up is so good
there.
that once you experience that, you're like, it's like that Cat Williams joke when he made that joke about whenever he goes to Martin Lawrence's house, he doesn't even like his house anymore because he's got buttery popcorn popping anywhere. It's the same, right? You have a good thing, but then when you experience the better thing, your human muscle memory experiences that you're thinking, man, I can attain to that level. You see? So the minimum, adding to what Sean Miles says, the minimum they need to do is a normal flip out screen, right? But if they really want to be taken seriously, they need to do what Fuji did with the XT100 and especially what they did with the S1H with a flip up and a flip out and a very angle flip up screen. Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's competition. And let's agree.
Yeah, it's
competition.
yeah.
Competition brings out the best, and also it exposes when you're being lazy, right? When competition does as good or better than you, you get exposed that, oh, so you were actually really dragging your feet, huh? And that's what I love about it. The competition raising the bar only benefits us creators because we get to have less limitations when design and specs is done right, meaning that we get the benefits of better design and specs done right, where usability and ease of use and accessibility goes skyrocketing. We're more efficient.
Right.
We get to create better content faster, or better content with more time that comes out to be even more creative. We grow. That means our skill set grows because we're given more time and the correct tools that's easier and more accessible and better to do. You see? And this is where there's even more pressure on Sony, because technically Sony should have been on an A7S4 by now, not 3. That's how much they've dragged their feet. They should have been on 4.
They late.
They're late. So they late. Come on.
They're late, but then they're not late because everybody loves the A7 III and it's such a staple, and everybody's hanging on to it being the. And I love the A7 III. I love it. Do not get me wrong, but they're late. It's time.
They're late.
It's time.
It's time.
They have to bring it.
Yeah.
They have to bring it, yo. Like, I
don't know. And look, and Canon. Y'all think that they serious, y'all?
They're serious.
They not crippling nothing.
They're not.
You don't think there's gonna be no? You don't think there's no cripple at all?
No. I think what's been put out that has pretty much more or less been confirmed for the most part.
It is.
Like,
it is.
real.
It has.
Like they are for real. And
I agree.
I agree. I'm gonna tell you why why this is true. You know that people are knowing that Canon is serious when they start delaying entire events multiple times because of what they're doing.
Hey, hold on now. Hold on.
They were like, wait a minute now. Hold on. Is this for real? Like,
we gotta go back to the drawing board. We didn't have that. We didn't have that.
But I do find it funny though, just kind of like going back off what you said, Ben, as far as like being like the giving us the tools to make us better content creators. Ben, for some reason they say my audio is very low on your stream. I don't know how that is, but nonetheless, though, I do find it very odd that we're sitting here talking about like these powerful cameras now, and there's people like literally he's still using like Canon Mark D, like 5D Mark IIs, and still making like dope fire content. So at some point, I do feel like the specs, man, like they all sound good, but I really do feel like at the end of the day, there's so much more that we should be looking forward to just outside of the camera period, though. Like for example, the R6, like, yeah, it's gonna be able to do 4K 60, right? Or the A7 is gonna have like better low light, but it's like, well, me and Sean talk about this all the time, like with better low light, like I don't need my camera to see in the dark, right?
Right.
So I guess my question is to y'all, like, at what point do specs and practicality and, you know, like what you're actually going to use it for, when do you actually analyze those? Go
I can
ahead,
answer.
man.
He's
So
raising his hand.
so in my XT3 review, I did say that I was gonna buy the XT3 as a second A cam to B cam roll off use next to my my XT4, and I've debunked it for now because that extra money is gonna go towards lighting and audio, right? So I feel like I've already set up a system where I've got great quick release systems where with one camera I can move from my A-roll camera to my B-roll camera to my live stream camera, and it's not stressful. Quick release plates, you know, where I just snap it off, put it on, it's quick, so it's convenient, right? So that extra money is gonna go towards, because the lights that I have, they're not adjustable, right? They're not adjustable. They're not flexible, they're not strong. It's the old school 40-pound soft boxes that I'm still using, right? You know, they can't run on battery power, so I don't get the convenience of battery power. And I've been in situations where I need battery power lights where they're still adjustable and they're still flexible, right? I need better audio because I'm still using a $25 Takstar mic, you know? I need a Zoom recorder where I've got that flex, you know? So where I agree is that there is a limit to the focus, because the focus hierarchy should be audio first, lighting, and camera gear, right? Lens and camera body, right? It should be. And again, cameras are the more of the exciting topic, but there does come a time where, so long as the camera body is good enough, you should focus on good audio, and it's good different audios, whether it's from a good lav setup, a good dynamic microphone setup like what we have here for audio live streams, whether it's a shotgun. You diversify different situational audio to make sure you're covered for the type of work that you do.
Peep this. Sean and I learned a very valuable lesson on our last job, the love story that you all saw. We have 4 camera setups. He got an A7 III, 6600. I got my GH5, and it was like, we had these most powerful cameras, and then we was having the hardest time with the audio. We got the audio equipment, but it's just like, there's so much more to learn in just regards to just you being able to do stuff. But it's like, yo, fam, it's a lot more to it. it's a lot more to it than you just being able to hit record on this new camera you got. Yeah. And it's like, yo, footage, because I've seen people with the GH5, bro, who footage don't look nothing like mine. I've seen people with the A7 footage don't look nothing like what I see.
We can go to YouTube with that. I've seen people with just do talk A-roll, and I'm like, you got what camera? Like, your man's look like a T2i. You know what I mean?
Man, bro, I've seen videos, people like, oh yeah, bro, I shot this with the GH5. No, you didn't. You ain't shoot that with my
No, you didn't.
Right.
There's no way. There's no way you shot this with a GH5. So I feel like, right now, cameras are doing exactly what cell phone companies do. They throw a whole bunch of stuff out there to make you look at it and be like, oh,
that's it. That's
that. But it's like, do you really?
You don't.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You got to shoot the exact same way you've been shooting with your old camera.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing with gas, man, and specs.
It's
I
real.
find that a lot of people don't even really understand what they actually need. And then they don't even really fully understand the specs themselves. Like 10-bit 422. Most people they're like, oh, I need that. Do you? What do you do exactly? What do you do that's actually going to take advantage of all of that? Do you even understand what it is? Most people don't. It's just like talking points, like, oh well, 10-bit is higher than 8-bit, and so
I was talking. Yeah.
And it's a fine
Yeah.
line you have to walk with the practicality of it. You have to have a real firm understanding of what it is that you do. Like, so let's take, if you're talking low light, for example, like, oh, well, the A7 III is great in low light. Now, me personally, on the shoots that I've done, there have been a lot of times where I was glad that I had that camera. I couldn't light it. I needed that ISO performance, even talking about autofocus, you know what I'm saying? There like, oh god, like I can't even countless times where I was glad I had to have it. I had to have autofocus because the only other way I could have gotten the shot the way I wanted to get it is if I had like a dedicated person pulling focus, which I didn't have. So it's just you need to really understand what you're doing and what you need to do it.
Yeah.
So
learn your camera. You know what I mean? Like there's people out there who want to buy cameras, like for example, for like better dynamic range. But 9 times out of 10, the way you're shooting it, you could have been gotten better dynamic range of the camera that you already own, but you just don't know how to like, you know what I'm saying, light it and get it properly and get the white balance and IR. Like there's so much stuff to do when it comes to like actual filming. That honestly, the camera is honestly like almost like the last thing.
It is. It's definitely
lighting
audio,
and a bunch of other stuff.
It's definitely audio and sound direction, lighting, right? And then you've got your camera lens and then your camera body. Camera lens and then your camera body. So
for me,
go on.
So for me, it would go storytelling.
Oh yeah,
sound design. Yeah, lighting, audio. Lens, then camera. You know what I mean? Like
no doubt, that's real. That's real.
So, like, man, bro, Sean and I done watching videos. It be like, man, what was this shot on? It's no way this is shot on that camera. You know what I'm saying? And been blown away in good things and bad things. Like I've seen phenomenal work from like T5 eyes and T7 eyes. Like, man, how you get that at that camera? So it's so much more that I feel like. Now, like as I get more professional in my work, as I do more, yes, the cameras matter, but they're like, man, I'm trying to focus on how to light scenes better, how to, you know what I'm saying, how to get that drama, or hair light.
That's real. That's real. And I gotta stop myself from doing that because I'll be ready to buy y'all know me. I buy some shit. You know what I mean? Like no, I buy it. You know what I mean? Like I'm good, but at the same time, I have to sit back and think that, all right, T, what do you really? I literally said, like, for real, my son was asleep earlier. My girl was going to Home Depot. I literally sat right here at the computer and was like, all right, what do you need? You know what I mean? Like, really think about it, for real. And I always take what Sean Miles told me before, I think it was on Twitter or YouTube. And even what Sean said on his video about the R5 and the R6, it was like, is it going to make your videos that much better? Is it going to do that? Is it going to do that? I'm like, you know what? I want it because I just want it, but I don't need it. You know what I mean? Like the A6600 was the perfect camera for me, but I got the XT4 because I know I wanted to grow and to do something a little bit more. And I know I'm not saying it's more capable because there's nothing more capable than what the camera you have, but it's just like, you got to stop yourself and be like, all right, T, you don't need all this. Like I'm even second guessing, do I even need a Ninja V? But in ProRes was smooth. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be real. You know what I mean? It's like, do I need the Ninja V? But I don't care about everything else. Editing the ProRes was the smoothest mess I ever felt. So I was like, I might have to hold on to that. But I can grow with that machine. You know what I mean? I can grow with that. You know what I mean?
The R5. Like right now, like the R5 got 8K. I guarantee.
I don't care about no damn 8K.
They're gonna shoot 4K. So it's like, well, now you got this you done upgraded from your camera that shoots 4K. Now you bought another camera that you're only gonna shoot 4K in.
That's true. What? That's crazy true. That's true. It ain't gonna be that much higher bit rate than what I'm already shooting in 4K with my camera right now. You know what I mean?
So like for you, like right now, it's
real.
Channel just like yours. I would ask, like, bro, why are you gonna get like what camera do you have now? Like if they say like a 6600, well, why are you gonna get an R5? Oh man, it could do this. It's like, well, bro,
that's true. That's real.
You're sitting in front of the camera in 4K. It's 4K.
and you see, Sean,
that's real. That's so I gotta check myself. Like it take a lot for you to check yourself. I'm like, all right, T, you gotta check yourself for real.
And the thing is, you making that point is where it's like I would recommend the R6 and the R5, but I know me, and I know that I don't need and want full frame. Like APS-C is fine for what I do. And I like the progressiveness of APS-C in terms of specs. I still like specs, right? But I like specs done right. Let me give you an example. And I like to use the EOS-R as my punching bag, right? On paper, the EOS-R has got good specs. And I'll give you one of them. When it shoots in 4K, right, it shoots up to all-I 480 megabits per second internal, right? But the usability is so rubbish, not just because of the crop factor being 1.7x times crop. Have you seen the rolling shutter? It's very bad. So it's not Sony bad. It's worse than Sony rolling shutter. How do you do worse than Sony rolling shutter? They're the kings of bad rolling shutter, and you're doing worse than them. So this is what I mean about it's specs done right. It has to be done right with the usability. Remember, I gave you the example of the G7. The G7 has good 4K recording, but I don't like the FAT32 file fat system where it cuts it in 4 GB chunks in short. I hate that. That's me personally. You see, so the spec sheet won't tell you that, right? But that's a cripple for workflow because you get syncing issues sometimes where it misses audio by a frame. And when I used to use it, it happened to me enough times where it annoyed me. And if it annoyed me, I'm like, I don't want to use that camera anymore. You see? Yes, I can work around it, but why should I have to when I'm looking at the competition that are not doing that? So that means you shouldn't be doing this.
That's why it's so tough for me sometimes, like with my GH5. Like, this is why, like, dude, Sean, we almost gotta have this conversation every day, not for me to get an XT4. I'll be so close to just straighten everything in I got.
And I wouldn't blame you. Bro, I wouldn't blame you. Fuji have done a great thing.
Like, they have, but realistically, Ben, every job that I've used
You've killed it. I was just gonna say you made so much money and killed it with the GH5. Why? What would be that much different? You know what I mean?
It works, and the thing is, it works both ways.
And it made you better with a camera. Period. Probably because it forced you to handicap something that wasn't good. So it really made you learn your equipment. So it probably made you better with a camera. Period. You know what I mean?
Bro, real talk. And to be honest, like even with the XT4, like I said in my video, the only thing I would gain,
autofocus
is autofocus.
That's true. I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like even like for the job I had this past week, I had a job where I was on a shoot for 4 days. And honestly, my G7 was stacked. You know what I'm saying? I had it just, in manual focus, just recording. So autofocus didn't matter then because they was in one spot. And then with my GH5, I'm on a Weeble S, and I can control the autofocus.
You can pull, You
can pull it on there. And this is where for a GH5 user, the XT4, like you said, is a strong alternative, but not an upgrade. But for me, being a Sony user, right, especially from a 6400, it's not even an upgrade. It's like a landslide slap in the face where it's not. And
that's why I don't want to go back. It's not even. I'll be downgrading a little bit.
It's not even a contest. You know what I mean? Even their premium APS-C 6600, in my opinion, for the fact that it has a single UHS-I SD card slot in the battery compartment and micro USB, right? With a flip-up screen
that
where you have to use a shoe.
Out of me with that USD.
You have to use a shoe to relocate. Those 3 body designs before we even get into the shooting modes already is like, that's so old school. Why are you still doing that? Your A7 III has USB-C, has dual card slots. Why are you doing that on your premium APS-C camera? It to me, it's not premium. It shows that you don't care. And I don't want to be using that when I need. So it may seem like a small thing, right? But put it this way. I'll have the XT3 on the tripod. When I finish recording, I just open the memory card on the side and pull it out. If it was my Sony, I have to take it off the tripod. Take it out. It's fiddly, and if you do it enough times, it's aggravating enough where I remember times where I would accidentally drop my camera, and you're thinking, how would you drop it? But bro, you're in your recording, you're tired, you get a bit clumsy, your camera gets damaged, and it's those little things that add up over time where it's just frustrating if this is how you're designing your stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? So I see as there's an element of design specs being done right where it gets out of the way. When it's done right, it gets out of the way where your usability goes all the way up, and then you become more efficient and more productive. You see, so I still think the focus on hammering these companies to keep getting it right, mini HDMI ports, full-size HDMI ports. All these things don't seem. We have
Get
to
rid of
keep
micro,
saying
please.
it. We have to keep saying it. The more we keep saying, the more they keep hearing, the more that it can be done, so we don't have to talk about it anymore. You see, then we can focus more on the hierarchy of what's important, i.e., your audio, your lighting, your storytelling.
You're right.
Your sound. And we need to get there. So I'm still one of those where when I'm doing my reviews, I will hammer it away and I'll make it clear to people that these are the compromises. These are what it can't do. This is what they need to improve for not just them, but because the competition are doing it, and they need to be on the same bar or raise it higher so that we can keep going and have better value in terms of better aggressive pricing, and better lens selection and better equipment pricing, so that us as creators, it's an easier decision when we want to start up, buy in, or upgrade.
Yeah, honestly, when you look at the comparison between, because Fuji makes full frame cameras too, right? So they make full frame cameras and make APS-C cameras. If you look at Fuji's flagship APS-C camera and then compare it to Sony's flagship APS-C camera, it's just comical. It's like, wow,
it's
okay.
a joke.
So
It's a joke,
and that's why I was like, I can't move back. It's like that's why I'm good right now. It's like it's just so much. They offer so much more to progress with.
Exactly.
Like,
progressive
the 6600
and
for what I do. Yeah, it's good. Like what Sean said, it's good for what I do. It's perfect for what I do. But what I'm doing right now isn't going to be something I'm always going to do. So it's just like, for me, it's kind of like a back step going back to the 6600, even though I love that camera. But the XT4 does offer, because I had just recently, and I never was a big fan of, I cared about the XD card. I had a video that I recorded with the 6600. My SD failed. That was the first time where I was like, now I see the need for dual. And it was a video to where to this day, I just cannot. I stumble on that video when I try to re-record it. I just left that whole video alone. But I was like, with that one situation happening, where this SD failed on me, I was like, you see, I was a champion for not caring about it. But that one time, I was like, you see, now I need double. Now that pissed me off. Now I want double card slots. You know what I mean?
It only takes one time. It only takes one time. It's happened to me like on 2 occasions, and now it's like even the A66. So I have the A6600, and I mean, but what I could use that for all intents and purposes. It does pretty much everything my A7 III does. But nah, I'm not
it's
just on the SD card slots alone.
It's just like, even though it's me with just YouTube content that you can, everybody probably be like, oh, you can just reshoot it. But you guys know who do YouTube. When you have that one take that in your bag and you go,
come on,
it's hard to get that back. And I have been struggling trying to get it back. I was like, you know what, that video was just trashed.
Yep,
because it just messed me up. That shot was perfect, and now that failed. Now it's like,
and whatever, for me, man. And this is not me driving a Fuji agenda. I'm just saying, because of the usability of the body being so much more user friendly, I wouldn't advise you to go back to the 6600. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the Fuji XT4 body is so much more usable. You actually have a proper you said in your video, you have a proper flip screen that doesn't need a hot shoe at the top to relocate, to do some funky stuff. You've got a proper USB Type-C power delivery port that supports up to 45 watt charging. 45 watt.
Need a dummy battery, because I have to have a dummy battery with the F.
You don't need it. You've got dual
really,
SD cards, and you've got a bigger battery, just like the Z Type.
Yeah, and the fact that I can get to the SD battery without removing it off my tripod. You know what I mean? So that matters too. So it's a few things I'm like, I can't, because the XT4 is doing completely fine. Like the 2 videos I shot on it, and I even put a poll on Twitter where I was just like, yo, what footage do you guys like better? And everybody said, most people said Sony won because it's sharper. You know what I mean? Like, I think Sony won because everybody said it's more sharp. So I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? But I think
Fuji
it took
that
real, like,
look, man. It looks.
Sean, that came big because I was waiting for Sean's critique, because I know how Sean be getting on my videos. He was like, bro, I can't find nothing wrong with this. Like, I was like, that's big. That's a lot to say from him because they do that. They do video. You know what I mean?
So
yeah.
See, like, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. What you do, even though like you only need 6600, I would just keep the XT4, bro.
Yeah,
like,
honestly, don't give up that usability.
For a long time, bro. You're gonna be set for
a
long.
It's good.
Even
It's good.
branch out at one point in time. You just say, you know what? I just want to try something different. You now have that flexibility to do that different.
Right. That's why I said I would keep it, just because I know I want to do other things. Like I said, I'm heavy into cars, so I'm around people who want car videos and they want pictures. I'm around that. You know what I mean? So it's just like all my boys are like, T, yo, I know you got the cameras. Let's go out and take some pictures. You know what I mean? Even though it's not full frame, I can still get plenty done with this. You know what I mean? So
for cars, it's so easy. Imagine shooting 4K 60 and then having the option to slow it down when you're shooting cars, fast objects like cars.
Yeah,
just that option alone. How are you gonna do that on your Sony? How are you gonna do that on your Sony?
To go return this, I'm like, you know what? I need this stream today because I'm gonna be real with you. I like the XT3. I had nobody really know this, but I had
I know you had it
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
But you remember that? I loved it. I was like, damn, I really like this. I don't like the articulated screen, but I had a bad lens that was more catered towards photography than videography. So the autofocus sucked. That's why I got rid of it, because I thought,
I remember that.
But that's when fresh. I didn't really know cameras like that, so I was still fresh. So I was like, the only thing that bothers me about Fuji is the lens selection. But I know I got Canon's whole selection because I got this Pro. You know what I mean?
Viltrox, bro. Viltrox got some options.
They got a 23 1.4 or something like that. But this Sigma 18-35 been doing me good. Like I got an 18-35 adapted. It's loud as hell on autofocus. But
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But that's an old art series lens. That's an old lens.
The thing about it is it's versatile, and I'm not worried about the autofocus noise because my mic is boomed above me on video, so you're never going to hear the focus noise. But
I would say, get you a 16-55, and for what you do, that's the only lens you need.
Yep, fact.
I'm gonna get the 16-55 f2.8, and that's it. I was gonna be good.
That's it.
I like this lens. I ain't gonna lie. I really like this lens. You know what I mean? But it's old, but it's sharp as I don't know what. You know, I know, Sean, you know. I mean, you know.
Sigma, I say it proudly, bro.
I'm a Sigma fanboy.
I'm a Sigma fanboy.
Me too, because they sharp as hell, boy. They get it right.
We will be wrapping up soon, guys. We will be wrapping up soon, so don't worry. We will be wrapping up soon. This is guys in the audience.
It's just they just got this look that Sigma just I don't know, bro. It just looks good. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna chill with the XT4. I'm gonna chill. We can talk about this off stream when we get off though, man. But yeah.
So I mean, so being, you know.
No, so guys, I mean, this was dual streamed to me and Sean B's channel. This is the first. Again, Sean, I sent you a list of topics that we can run through over the year, and we've just proven that we will never finish this. We will never finish this conversation, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Yes, we where I want to get clear is we talked a lot about Micro Four Thirds, but honestly, that was the main topic. So I don't think how much we talked about it was a bad thing. It segued into all these things, and there's so many discussions. Like the list that I sent you, Sean, with all those 13 topics. Those topics are gonna be something that I think we can pull off at least guaranteed once a month. That does not account for any rumors. That does not account for any camera releases. That does not account for any camera reviews. Like, for example, I have no affiliation with Gerald Undone, but his review on the Zcam F6 was that stuff was deep. If you guys haven't watched it, just watch it for how he critiqued and broke it down to the point where it caused a stir, and stuff like that is good for us to talk about because it will lead into one of the topics of what is the definition of a cinema camera, right? What is really the definition? Because there hasn't been a definition of it, but what qualifies as a cinema camera? What should be the expectations? You see? So guys, like Tech and Chill and Camera Talk It's not always going to be about mobile phones and the smartphone industry. I'm not bored of smartphones. I still love smartphones. I still do a lot of content on smartphones, from talking head to reviews and stuff. But we're equally as passionate, probably more passionate about cameras. And there's a lot more that we can talk through. So stay tuned. We'll be giving more details. We're going to up the production quality as per usual. And we're going to, you know, let you guys know the frequency, the topics, and then hopefully we can show you guys as brothers as well that we have our input when it comes to the camera scene, and we're adding value and progression through.
Most definitely.
Talk it.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Great.
Yeah. And that's something I don't mince my words in saying it with my chest. It ain't. It's all about, you know, the person themselves. But us as black people, we also want to show that we want to leave our mark and we know our stuff. I don't say it and mince my words and make it seem like, oh, it's not about race. I want to show that we also want to contribute, and where we are contributing, and we're bringing facts, diversity, and different angles. We are.
We gotta do this more. Like I say, nothing like that. We gotta do it more. We gotta do this like on a scheduled basis, like for real.
Yeah.
For real,
Minimum once a month.
Especially when some new news come out. You know what I mean?
Stream, y'all. Like for real. Like I didn't think we was gonna rock for 2 hours talking about cameras.
Oh, I knew it.
Oh yeah, I knew.
Yeah. I can talk about this stuff all
day.
But y'all, I'm on the YouTube side mostly. Sean is too. Then you got both of y'all, and y'all do it professionally. Ben is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to cameras. So I knew
I appreciate
we
that,
had a
guys.
good round of people who kind of hit all different aspects of it. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. I knew it had to come to a point where we had to be like, oh, we gotta stop, because we'll literally go all night. You know what I mean? The Michael Four Thirds argument alone could have went still to this right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for her. Anybody ever disrespect my baby? I'm fighting for her.
I'm fighting for Michael Four Thirds. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm fighting for bro. This whole Michael Four Thirds situation, I'm actually vexed. I'm vexed to the point where I'm looking at Lumix. I'm looking at how they are working with creators like us, right? I'm really inspecting that first. That's a big indication, obviously, because of the times and stuff that's been happening, right? Which is one thing I'm really, just based on first impressions, I'm rocking with Fuji UK very hard. I'm really impressed by them, right? I'm impressed by that. I'm looking at that first, and then I'm looking at, away from even that diversification that they need to add to their brand, are they going to listen to what made them great or abandon? You see, so I'm vexed at the so it's not, oh, me saying Michael Four Thirds is dead is killing it, but it's just the cynic in me knowing how behind closed doors, how these guys are talking and negotiating. You know, don't kill the mount. Don't kill that mount. That mount has so much more to give. Don't kill it. So that's the wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna have the stream up for maybe a day or two. Depends on what Sean wants to do. I'll have my stream up for maybe a day or two. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Guys, anything else that you want to add before we bounce?
Nah, man, I had a good time. It's good talking cameras, because with me doing the smartphones, I don't really have any, y'all know, I don't have nobody in that realm to really talk cameras. When I talk cameras on my live streams, people be lost. I'm like, yeah, see, I need to talk to some camera people, because even though I don't know all, I'm learning at a fast rate, and I know I've tried so many cameras. I know what I like and what I don't like. So it's just like, to talk with some people who know cameras, man, I will always be. And I told Ben, I was like, Ben, what I tell you yesterday?
Yeah.
I said, Ben, we need to do a camera stream, because
I was way ahead of you. I was way ahead of you. Like, I've got topics. Like, I've sent that. Like, you guys bring your own stuff as well. Let's go.
Get to find a schedule where we can do this. I think this could be
once a
dope,
month minimum. Once a month minimum. Once a month minimum.
Right now on YouTube, man. So we do this
for sure.
Minimum, yeah.
And like, we want to do it right here, like make it the last Sunday every month.
Yeah. Last Sunday every month. Yeah, that's fine.
Always. Last Sunday is always quiet.
Cool.
Last Sunday every month.
And I'm pretty sure we will have to talk about, especially this next coming Sunday. We're gonna have.
Remember, Canon rumors have said that the announcement of the R5 and the R6 is going to be 9th of July, right? So Canon rumors, shout out to them. They've been on point with leaks and rumors. 9th of July, there's going to be a lot to talk about with the R5 and the R6 for sure. So
I think Sony. Hopefully Sony go ahead.
They're better.
Give us some.
They're better. They're better.
Man.
They're absolutely better. So that's a wrap, guys. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. We're gonna mute, guys, and then we'll do the outro. And I hope you guys have a great week. It is gonna be the beginning of July month on Wednesday. We're now way past halfway point in this crazy 2020 year. We appreciate you guys rocking with us, and we appreciate any new people that will see it. And we're going to be giving you more. We're going to up the quality. We're going to go up with the intensity, and we'll get some big hitters as well as ourselves in here. And yeah, we're going to take it to the next level. Have a good Sunday. Hope you guys are great, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.